Welcome to all. So today in this lectures, we will learn about a roles in Ansible. So why we are using a roles actually? The main purpose of roles is to handle the complex project. That is the main. And second one, we can use reusable. Okay, and reusable. Reusable. So we can use a reusable this roles. So that is the reason we are using it. So we can create a roles by using a Ansible hyphen galaxy space init spade user.example. So user.example is the role name. So it will create the roles and by default it will create these directories. Suppose for example, if you don't want to use these roles and want to create a manual directories, yes, of course you can create a manual as well also, but it will consuming a time. Then you need to create a default directory, files directory, handlers, meta, readme.md, task, template, test, and vars. So you need to create it manual here. Okay, so all are not compulsory when you're creating manual, but as for best practice, best standard, it must be all. Okay, and having their own meanings. So let's learn their meanings here. First, let me create these roles on a lab as well also, and let me show the, and after that I will explain it. Okay, so now when I'm in my terminal, let me go inside a project here, and now we will create a roles Ansible hyphen galaxy, and in it, let me use a hyphen help. Okay, so now you can see we are using Ansible hyphen galaxy space hyphen help. So right now it came as like, so type collection and role. Okay, so there and hyphen h for help and version you can see, and verbose mode you can see here. Okay, so if I need to create a, so I can, if I'm using a role and hyphen help here, help, so it will,
एक collection पे आप teach करें ना
yeah,
वन
yeah, correct, so having a different meaning. So let's discuss first role. Okay, and now you can see Ansible space role and having these options. So in it, so here we are creating a new role here. If I'm using a the command, let's say I'm not running the command, just showing here. Let's say I Ansible and init and role name, for example, that is I'm taking a Linux dot, let's say I'm writing a role for a uh, let's say example. Okay, example role. So it's also creating the role. If I will run this command, and if I'm using a proper way, that is a Ansible and space, that is your role part, and init. So init here, init new role with a base structure of a role, and I can use init and role name, that is the line examples. So both are fine here. I will produce both the examples here. So now let's do with one example. Okay, so I'm running here. Okay, so now role has been created successfully, and let's take another example, but here I will make it example 2. Okay, now you can see it has been also created, and let's see the difference between both the roles. I am using a tree hyphen f, so you can see these are, it will give the full hyphen m means full path. So you can see in example, and let me show the another one is example 2. So so you can see there is no difference here. Also you will find out default file, handler, meta, same meta is there, readme task, template, test, and vars. So all are same, both are same. So when you are creating, if you are using this command, that's also fine. If you are using this command, that's also fine. Okay, and to delete roles from a rolled path, you can use a remove command, or directly rm space hyphen rf space role name also you can do it. Okay, role, delete role from a role underscore bar, and delete the role from a galaxy. So we will discuss about that galaxy later. So from there we can download the roles also. So right now we are discussing about manual, and show the name and version of each role installed in the in the role and path. Search the Galaxy. So Galaxy is we are using a like a Docker hub.docker.com, where we will find out all the images. So same here, we have a Galaxy here. So we'll discuss about that part and import a role setup. Okay, so info and install. So that is later part. Okay, so let's focus on our main agenda. Okay, so now like that we can create a roles here. Now you can see this is our a tree-f example.com. So having the different meanings, the directories here. So we need to learn about that part. Okay, so right now the default. So default and one, make sure when we are writing a code, so in a playbook we can follow the .yaml. That is also a valid format, and .yaml is also a valid format. Both are same. Okay, but what we will do as per best practice, as per practice, we will use .yaml only. Okay, reason is behind, because when you are creating a role, so all are .yaml files, YAML, if you see. Okay, so we will follow the one standard. We will not make it a in double standard. I'm using dot YAML and here dot YAML, so it's not a good actually. Okay, so as per best practice, we will follow the dot. But there is no problem if I'm using this one and using this one. There is no problem, but better to follow one standard. Okay, so as per best practice. So let's discuss first is a default. So default, this is a directory, and inside a directory you have a main.yaml. So here you can see default, handlers, meta, task, test, vars, all having a same naming convention, main.yaml file. What is the purpose of defaults? So the purpose of this directory is for variable. Okay, variable, but least priority. Least priority. Okay, so least priority means, so suppose if you defined a variable here, for example you defined a variable name that is a x colon 10 you defined. So people can change, can overwrite. Okay, so you can overwrite easily, you can overwrite easily. Okay, easily, easy. So that is the purpose of this one here. Okay, so having a least priority here. Okay, that is the purpose of this one here. Okay, so okay, so here, and next one is a files. So files, we are using, we can put a static files here. So okay, suppose for example I in a uh, let's take example of files. Okay, so for example I'm using a copy module. Okay, hyphen copy module, and I want to copy some I want to copy some file, so I will put some static file here. Let's say you have put here example dot, let's say it is a txt file. Okay, and I want to copy it to destination dest. So let's say I want to copy in somewhere temp dot example dot txt. Okay, or example.txt or temp, you can define a path. So okay, so you can put these, so it is a now systematic way, so you need to put it automatically, take it from files. We don't need to do here like I can put here files slash, no need, no, not required. Okay, it's just simply we need to do it and it will copy. So here we can put a static files. Okay, now let's come the next one here, handlers. Okay, so handlers is same the feature, that is what we have learned earlier lectures. So it is using to notify. Okay, when it will uh, notify when the condition is true, and it will notify, then it will run. Okay, it will run either it is in sleeping mode, it is in like a same, it is similar sleep mode. Okay, sleep mode similar sleep mode, but it means it's not running when you when suppose when we are declare when we are declare as a notify, then it will run it, either it will not run here. So let me produce example here, that is I will produce example on the lab as well also, don't worry about it. But here handler, so here this is, it is a handler here, so you can see notify. So when we are using a notify keywords, this is a notify keywords, and I want to make it a restart underscore apache, and in the name I need to mention restart apache, so it will restart it here. So some things we are doing the changing here. Source, let's say it is some example like a example underscore config dot something, and destination we are putting there for example, and doing something changing here, so it will restart it. So that is the use of here. Okay, so I will produce example in the lab as well also, don't worry about it. Okay, so okay, now now let's discuss about the next part, that is your meta. In meta directories, what is the purpose of meta directory? So here you can who is here auth person, so who he is authorized person who wrote this program, and mm, let me do cat here. Okay, so now you can see here, here this here we are here. So now you can see, if you see here author, you can see author and description here. Now you can see description is here, company name, and license minimum Ansible version. So you wrote a program who required platform, which platform it is suitable. So that is what you need to define it here. And Ansible tags, if you define the tags, and dependencies, list your report your role dependencies here. So that is information we find out here. So here, here you can see I have opened one more tab here. Meta.yaml. So Galaxy info author name. We need to put the author name, description, why we are using this role, and company for let's say I'm writing this code for example dot company here. That is what information we need to put it here, and uh, after that if is there any licensing we required, so license and minimum version, that is here, and platform like a name Fedora version, so which platform it is a it will be, we can run all version or some specific version, and Ansible tags. So I will discuss about a tags in the later part, then I will let you know. So the tags means which we want to run specific tasks for, it calls some specific tag here. Okay, and dependencies, suppose if there are any dependency on this role, so that is what we can mention here. So that is the purpose of this role. Okay, and readme is the next one here. So what is the use of a readme? So the use of this one here, if I come, okay, so readme here. So readme, the purpose is readme to the we suppose if we declare some variables. So let's say 10, so variable, so let's say I have declared variable x10, so I need to explain it, need to explain why we are using explain why we are using actually it is for a help, like in a Linux we are using a man page, right? Man page, how the describe, how we can use the arguments, and how we can run this command, and we need to produce some examples. Okay, so and is there any dependencies, so we need to mention dependencies, is there mention in dependencies, etc. Like in normal commands man page is there, so there having all the information. So what is the use of role, why we are using it, so all the information is here. And if you want to see this file as well also, let me show you this file also. So okay, so now let me show this file now here. Now I can see this is a here already it is a role name. So a brief description about the role, why we are using a requirement. So uh, any prerequisite that may not be covered by Ansible itself, or the role should be mentioned here. Any prerequisite is required. So that is role variables. That is what I said. Key extend, need to explain why we are using it, and if it is important. Okay, not for every variables, that those variable that is a some user specific inputs are there or something. Okay, that is what you need to explain here. And these are optional, but as per best practice it should be there. If you are not mentioning anything here, it will not impact anything, but it must be. And again, dependencies. So if is there any dependencies on this roles, a list of other roles based on the galaxy should be go here, plus any details in regards to parameter that may need to be set for other roles or variable that are used from other roles. And example playbook here. So so you can produce example, this playbook licensed and authorized information. So that's what we are doing here. Okay, and next is a task. This is the main part actually. So task here. So here this is our task. So this task is this is this section, and inside the task we have a main.yaml file. So here we are writing the main task. So for example, here. So here we wrote this is a task. So this is a one task actually. So we are writing this task here only, here only. So this is the task section. Okay, and next one is a template. So template here, earlier lecture we have learned about a Jinja 2 template. So here we are using a template module, and we are using a source. Let's say I'm putting here example dot j2. J2 is the extension, and destination. So destination is, let's say, slash temp temp slash, like, let's say it is a any configuration like httpd underscore conf. Okay, let's say. So we can generate a template here. Okay, so that template, so where this template exists, this template, so where this template exists, it will exist in this directory here. Okay, in this directory here. Okay, and the code part, where the code part will goes to, it goes to the code part in the task main.yaml. Okay, this code part goes to the here. Okay, so that is the purpose of a template. So here we just put the files example.j2. So we will not put these files example.j2, we will not put this file uh, inside a file folder. Here files folder, those files are static files. So j2 is a dynamic file actually. Here it will handle the variables, loops, if conditions. Okay, so we will put these in the inside a templates. And test is using for a test purpose. There we will define an inventory file, and test.yaml. Here we can run our role here. If you see this output, so I can show you here. Here, so how we can execute a role here. So it can show here host, local host, remote user is a root, and roles. So we need to use a word roles and hyphen linux dot example. So linux dot example is here, so we want to run it here. Okay, that is the purpose here for testing, to test the roles actually. That is the purpose of here. Okay, and now last one is a, that is our vars. So vars also, we are using it vars for define the variables also. Okay, so here also we are define the variables. but with higher priority. This is the higher priority, higher priority. Okay, priority. And so that is the what purpose we are using it. Okay, that is vars, that is higher priority. Okay, this is the directory here. Okay, so we can create our more files inside a slash vars also. Main.yaml is the main, but let's say example underscore var dot yaml, and I need to call that task inside a main.yaml. That I will show you also, don't worry about it. Okay, so it's very important question between in the interview people will can ask you the common question comes here: what is the difference between default directory and var directory? Because both directories are using for a variable purpose. So what is the main difference? The main difference is there, the var is using with the higher priority, and the default it is a lower priority. So user can easily overwrite default main.yaml variables here. So that is the main difference here. So these are the explanation here. So let me show the documentation here. So here also explained here. Okay. So main.yaml file in directory contains the default value of the role variable, and that can be and least priority variables. And overwritten when the role is used. Okay, and files and it will be overwritten when the files role is used. Okay, so that is what. And files directly contain the static files that are referenced for by role task. That is I shown the example already. The handlers directly contains the role handlers definitions. Meta file contains information about role, including author, license plate for, and optional dependencies. That is the main task we are using here. Template Jinja 2 template, that is by that's referenced by role task. And here for our test. So test is using contains an inventory test.yaml that can be used to roll the test. So if you want to test the roles, that is the purpose of this one. And here the last one is here, that is we have learned about a main.yaml file in the directory defines the rules variables value, and it is a higher priority variables here. Now let's go for a lab. Okay, so already we have created a linux.example.com here. So what we will do, let's say we will write a task here. So I will open it here. So let me use a Vim. Okay. Okay. So now here I need to start from here. Let's say name. So example role. Okay. That is I'm just mentioning here. And let's say I want to show as a debug masses. Okay, debug, and here masses. So here masses, and here I want to call as a variable. So let's say I can define a variable here, a let's say uh, masses underscore var. Okay, that is what I'm typing here. Okay, so it will show us here. Okay, so let me save this one here, and let me
So no
show
need to
you.
mention the tasks over there, right?
Yeah. Okay, so in the task main.yaml. Okay, so that is the task we have. So it will print it here. But right now message underscore var we have not defined it here. Let's say I want to define it here in the default main. Okay, I'm defining here, and now let's say I need to define it. The what is the name is message underscore var, and let's say welcome to all. Welcome to all. Learn Ansible. Okay, that is what I'm mentioning here. Okay, that is I have mentioned here. Okay, so now let me run this playbook here, Ansible hyphen playbook. And uh, if you can see inventory file, this is our inventory file, test inventory. See a local host is here, and test, this is a here, it is calling the role here. Okay, this role is calling here, hyphen role is the keyword that is we are using, and it call here. Okay, so let's say Ansible hyphen playbook, and I want to call this if I'm calling as it let test let's see test okay uh, okay, so it is not fine. If I'm using a test dot e right now where I am. Okay, I'm here. So okay, so I'm here. Okay, so Ansible hyphen playbook, and I can write same similar here as well also. So let's say let me make a CP. Let me make a tree hyphen f and Linux dot example. Let me do a CP test, and this is for a I can mention here example example underscore main dot YAML. Okay. Okay, so now I can see here, this is here. So you can see here, uh, okay, so it will run on local host and remote is your root here. On now, let me run this Ansible hyphen playbook, and I'm running this example. Okay, so what it is saying here, it's saying some error here. See here in this here, some having a issue here. So welcome to all. So in masses where's okay.
I
So
think the single quotation
oh
mentioned double quotation.
uh, 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 here okay, correct. I did here, I did a mistake here. Okay, so okay, now let me write it here. Okay, so now let me run here. Now I can see welcome to all here to learn Ansible. If you see let me show you here. Now you can see in the task I have mentioned the where here. Okay, message where here, and this values where I put it here, I put it here. Okay, so you can see I put it here. Okay, so and if I run it to again in another way, Ansible hyphen playbook, and let me run this test here. Now I can see now same output. You can see uh, same output. So here you have seen here, I have mentioned here example underscore main dot YAML, but I don't require this if I want to test it. So it is inside there. So you can see here when I'm running this here, so it is also the same things, but it's running localhost because in this file having local host mentioned. Okay, so it is also running in a local host. Okay, and another example I called it outside also, outside it, so that is also the same output. Okay, and now let's another example, let's say message underscore what we have did it here, message underscore bas. Let me overwrite it here, so I will overwrite it here. So let me overwrite it here. Okay, so I want to mention here, let me mention where's here, and here and here I'm typing here. So I want to mention here hello. Okay, now let me run this playbook here. Okay, I am able to write it hello here. Okay, now let's do it here, one changing here. So I'm going to test sorry, task main dot YAML, and let me take one more variable, so I will keep it same, but for example, okay, so example role, this is example role now. Just let's say next example I can mention here, and here where underscore, let's say it's two here. Okay, so I want to mention here two, and okay, so this time I want to put into a vars. Okay, now okay, let me do it here, and here okay, now I can mention here, uh, let's say I'm mentioning here Hari Om. Okay, I'm just mentioning Hari Om here. Okay, so and now this time I'm in a example uh, here. eh, here example main.yaml, and I want to mention here message bar. Let's say it is two, right? And hello, and I mention here hi. Okay, hi. Now let me run this playbook in Ansible hyphen playbook and example dot main dot yaml. Okay, so you can see hello hariom. So now you can see the difference here. So here, so that is the main I have shown you as a practical. That is what I have explained here. So you can see here, I mentioned here a hello. Okay, it is hello came here, easy to overwrite. What you see? Able to overwrite, able to overwrite, because it was in default slash main dot yaml. Okay, and here unable to overwrite, unable to overwrite because it was in vars dot main dot yaml. So where your variable should be. Okay, so it is so you need to design which users need a user input. So best practice here, if is user input, if user input required. Okay, so then you need to use a default.yaml, and this is a permanent here, and I can show you here both the files here. So if you see here, so here, so they